my channel, and Happy New Year. Today we're just going to be having a quick look at what I'm going to be reading for 2022 and what my goals are, as well as what my January TBR is going to be. So first up, just what my plans for the year as a whole are going to be. So for this year, I'm aiming to be reading one science fiction book per month, one fantasy book per month, and one independently published or self-published book per month. Obviously those can overlap, so there could be an independently published science fiction novel, likewise with fantasy, and chances are I may end up reading more than that as well, but that's my minimum sort of goal per month throughout 2022. So without further ado, what am I looking at reading in January? Well, first of all, is the book that I started in December that I'm just finishing up, and that is Wrath by John Gwynne, which is the fourth book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. As you can see, I'm just past halfway in that, so I'm hoping to finish that by the weekend, but we will see how that goes. It's a very good series, definitely recommend it, and I look forward to moving on to the second trilogy that comes after this one very soon. I'm also currently listening to the third Lies of Lockamore or Gentlemen Bastards series by Scott Lynch, which is called Republic of Thieves, which is also very good. I've got that on audiobook at the moment, and again hopefully should be finishing that about in a week or so, I believe. So the official January TBR, once I've caught up on what I'm just finishing up from December, first of all we have Roadside Picnic, which is by Arkady and Boris Strugatsky, I believe that's pronounced. So this is my science fiction book for the month. It is also a read-along book with Media Death Cult, who I'm following quite a lot of their read-alongs. Very good channel, recommend it. I'll pop a link down below. This is actually one of the Science Fiction Masterworks series of books, which I do plan on trying to read as many of those as possible this year. As you can see behind me, I've got a few of them already lined up, and I'm hoping to get through quite a lot of those because it's just going to help expand my science fiction reading. So there's a lot of stuff on there that I've never got to, and authors who I'd really like to pick up. So yeah, Roadside Picnic will be the next one, first science fiction novel. The fantasy book that I'm going to be reading for January is going to be Traitor's Blade by Sebastian de Castell, which is the first book in the Greatcoats Quartet, I believe it is. Heard so many good things about this book. A lot of people saying it's sort of like a Musketeers, that kind of vibe. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's a new series to start for me. So that is my fantasy book for January. For my independently published book, I don't have a physical copy of it, but I do have it on Kindle, so I'll pop a picture up here of that. It's going to be The Warden by John Richter, who is an author that I've known for a little while. We've worked on an anthology before, and there's also another one coming out very soon, which I'll talk about in just a moment. It's his most recent novel. It's sort of like a science fiction story revolving around sort of a lockdown, so it's very sort of relevant for recent times now, but it came out last year, and I'll talk more about that when I come to review it, I'm sure. The final thing that I'm going to be trying to read is at the end of this month, on January the 26th, I believe it is. There's an anthology called Neo Cyberpunk Volume 2 coming out, which is an anthology of independent cyberpunk authors, and it's coming out. It's 15, I believe, short stories in there. Bit of self-promotion, I do have one in there myself, but I've not read all the other ones. I've read a couple of them, but not all the other ones. So I'm looking at picking that up and reading through all the other ones that are in there. Highly recommend all the writers in there, it's all fantastic. There'll be a link down below. The pre-order will be up by the time this video comes out, I believe. And yeah, out on the 26th, I highly recommend that. So that's my TBR for January, as well as my goals as a whole for the year. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure there's going to be some overlap on what I'm reading, and some months I may not quite get to all three categories. So I've got some of the Malazan Book of the Fallen books to read this year, because I want to finish that series. I'm doing that as a read along on Mike's book reviews, another channel which I'll link below. They take most of the month up, so hopefully I can maybe read one of those as the fantasy book, and then get an independent sci-fi book on audiobook, and then try and fit them all in. We'll see how that goes. I will ask you, what are you reading this January? Do you have any main goals or plans? And also, if you have any independent or self-published books that you recommend, feel free to drop them down below. Bonus points if they're on audiobook, because I'd love to be able to sort of expand on the audiobooks, and I want to help other independent authors get reviews and all that kind of thing. So it'd be good to review the audiobook, the Kindle physical copy, get those reviews out there for people. So if you have any recommendations on those, science fiction and fantasy predominantly would be great, although I'm happy to read horror, crime fiction, that kind of thing as well. But yeah, let me know. And that is it for this video. Thank you very much for joining me. This has been my first full-length video. Hopefully I shall have a writing and a publishing related video out in the next few weeks as well. But other than that, thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you again next time.